A goodbye. My sister Savannah was staying at Mom's house for her family's summer vacation. Naturally, I had to tell her about my rejection from USU. What? Savannah demanded of me. No, you don't get rejected from USU. Let me see that email. I pulled up USU's rejection email on my phone. Savannah read, "This is talking about admissions to the business school. What major did you declare?" Accounting. Savannah did a Google search for USU business school requirements. The requirements for transferring into the business school are higher than general admissions. Plus, you haven't finished your prerequisites, so of course you didn't get in. If you don't declare a major, you can finish your prerequisites before applying to the business school. I took the phone from Savannah, reading through my supposed rejection letter. This time, I skimmed the beginning and read all the way to the end. It may be possible for you to gain admission into a different major. A list of programs along with their admission requirements is available online. If you would like to be considered for a different major, please email the admissions office. You do not need to submit an additional application or application fee. She was right. It had all been in the email, but I had only focused on the rejection. Send them an email, Savannah said. Say you want an undeclared major. I did and received an acceptance letter to USU the next day on July 26th. I was now an Aggie. After a week of assuming I wasn't enrolled in a school, learning I had been accepted to USU was a literal weight off my chest. I registered for classes. At the end of one semester, I would have all my prerequisites to enter a program of my choosing. I was also about to be a lot poorer. USU had no tuition cap because the ever-important Huntsman School of Business felt entitled to charge differential tuition. That's kind of like normal tuition, but extra, because reasons. But it's fine. Increased tuition means a better education, right? I think I read that somewhere, so it must be true. Student fees had also doubled in the last 5 years because the school just really needed to pay for that new gym across the street from the old gym. Oh, and I had to pay for all the sporting events I would never attend because fostering community is important, I'm told. I'm still not sure whose community I was supposed to be fostering, but I was fostering it so hard. Regardless, non-essential classes were a no-go for the rest of my schooling, on account of me having to join the super exclusive club of student loans. I just had one more thing to do before the semester began. I landed at the Detroit airport to be greeted by the familiar mile-long walk to baggage claim. Being a light packer and resentful of the money-grubbing ways of the airline industry, I walked past the baggage claim, adjusting my backpack containing everything I needed for a week. Dad was there at the curb, ready to pick me up with a hug. "Don't you need to pick up your bag?" Dad asked, motioning toward baggage claim through the airport doors. I jostled my backpack on my shoulders. "Just this." "Oh," Dad said, like I had somehow broken airport travel. "Let's get going then." We spent the hour-long drive hedging our way around my life over the last year. I had avoided him for months, and the last time we spoke, I had blown up on him. It really sucks coming to realize that you probably were the one in the wrong in an argument. It shatters that self-righteous narrative you so carefully crafted. Hey, I'm sorry about what I said last time we talked. I was being an idiot. My words failed. Anxiety turned itself into a knot in my chest. Dad glanced over at me and back to the road, seeming unsure of how to respond. "You're okay. I've been there. You were just trying to survive. It's easy to blow things up in that mindset." A melancholic understanding passed between us. We were on a similar life path now. Two men who were cast out from the culture of their birth. I looked out the window at the wall of stark green foliage blurring past, biting my trembling lip. Yeah, I guess it is. Dad pulled into his garage and led me into his house. "So, when are you going to watch Game of Thrones?" I asked, walking into his house and kicking off my shoes. "I've never been into fantasy-type things with a lot of names," Dad said. "Game of Thrones is light on fantasy, and I can tell you who everyone is," I said, dropping my backpack and turning to face him. "Now is a great time to start because Season 5 just finished." "Yeah, but these shows always have terrible endings," Dad said. "That's just how it goes." "What? Season 5 was great," I said. "Game of Thrones will be different. is for sure going down as one of the greatest series of all time. You can thank me when it's over." "One episode," Dad said. "If I don't like it, you can't complain." "Fine, but it would mean you're a horrible judge of quality," I said. Dad dropped his keys on the counter and opened the fridge. "You want a beer?" I smirked at him. "Sure." Dad handed me a bottle. "When in Michigan." Come August, I moved up to Logan. I found a room to rent in an ancient house with creaky wooden floors, one bathroom, a dismantled kitchen, and a claustrophobia-inducing staircase. It was a shithole compared to the mansion I grew up in. But my room had vaulted ceilings, and I loved it. I picked up my new student ID from the student center. Emerging outside, across from the Institute building, I flipped the card twice over. What a flippin' cutie I turned out to be. I took out my phone and posted a picture of the ID on Instagram. With a light step and heart, I walked to my new home. When I started out at BYU 2 years prior, the world had felt like it was just beginning. My mission was over, and my life was mine for the first time. Walking home that late August afternoon in Logan, I felt a similar feeling. The world was just beginning. BYU was behind me, bringing me full circle in my collegiate journey. In some ways, I still didn't know who I was, what I believed, or what my moral code was. None of that mattered, though, because I had the leeway to learn all those things. No one could kick me out of school for being gay. Culturally, I was a Mormon, and good can be found within every culture. But here was an opportunity to graft in something new. To find something, become someone, that was uniquely me. Easton. "Hey, did you transfer to Utah State?" Seeing his text on my phone sent a scythe through my stomach. I sat on my bed. Why now, of all possible times, would he choose to reach out to me? Now, when I had moved on, literally if not figuratively. It didn't matter how much I thought I was over the past. A chance to speak with Easton was a chance to enable a hit of dopamine in my brain. Me. I did. I didn't end up getting into the business program down there. USU has a pretty great program, though, so I came up here. Classes started today for me. How have you been doing? Easton. I've been really good. Already into the groove of school. I might get to travel for class this year. By the end of our conversation, night had fallen over my new room. I had a double bed in my own room, alone, free from judgment of roommates. I was sprawled out on my bed. Easton had contacted me. Things felt normal-ish between us. I thought about that person I was when I had met him. I was locked down, unable to speak. The last few months had blown a door off my mouth, and it turned out talking had a lot of use cases. I wanted to talk to Easton, even if just one last time, and I wanted to tell him how I felt. I thought about what I would say for a day before texting him. Me. Can I ask a favor? Easton. Sure. Me. Last night, I voice recorded a few things I've wanted to tell you. I'd be really appreciative if you'd listen to it and let me know what your thoughts are. I feel like it would help to give me a little more closure. Easton. Absolutely. I'm sorry for how I handled everything as well. I really didn't do it appropriately. So while I don't like you in a romantic way, I want to hear you out. I sent him the audio file of my thoughts. Hey, Easton. Sorry for trying to talk to you again. I guess there's just a lot of feelings left over from before. I've wanted to talk to you for a while now, but I never knew how to do it. You probably don't want to hear from me, which I get. I wanted to tell you I have a lot of respect for you. You're a great person. I feel bad that I never got the chance to say you had a positive impact on my life. I was very thankful when you said hi to me at USGA. Nobody else did, so I'm grateful you were there. It meant a lot because I was kind of in a dark place. Things are better now, but I was completely lost last year. Having someone who cared and listened and talked to me changed my life. I know I messed up. I cared about you, and I hurt you. I'm sorry for what I did, and any pain I caused. I don't know how things were on your end, but the situation wasn't fair to you either way. Seeing that unfold and the consequences of my actions affect my life was very difficult to accept. I don't know if that's the reason you weren't interested in dating, but I view that as a major screw-up on my part. You got the worst of me, and I'm sorry. I understand you don't want to be in a relationship, and I would never try to force you. I've been in that situation, and I know it sucks. I just wanted to let you know that I care a lot about you, and I don't know how to change that. I wish I did, honestly. I wish I didn't love you, and that I could just move on. Anyway, this is weird. I just needed a chance to say thanks, and that I think the world of you. Hopefully you're happy. Bye. In hindsight, I find my words ironic. Given the chance, I never told Easton I loved him. I told him I wished I didn't love him. A truth and a lie. He might not have felt the same way, and part of me didn't want to know. I went to bed feeling good about life. Easton's response almost didn't matter. It was enough for me to know that he had listened to the most honest expression of my feelings I could give him. The next day brought heavy rain clouds over USU campus. As I walked home passing Old Main, I received a reply from Easton. Easton. Okay, so here's my thoughts. First, I'm really, really sorry I wasn't there to help you through your depression. I get what that feels like, and I do feel bad. I was sad when you said you didn't want to be friends anymore, but I understood where you were coming from because I've been there too. If it's not too hard for you, I would like to be friends. I still don't know all the reasons why I stopped liking you, but the thing with Noah played a part. It just made me super jealous, so I shut down and shut you out. I'm sorry for how I reacted. During that time, I was going through things with my counselor, trying to find healing from a rape and subsequent suicide attempt 4 years ago. I hadn't talked about it for so long, and it was hard to open up and trust anyone because I was reliving everything I went through. I think you got the brunt of my frustration because you were trying to get closer to me. Overall, I'm glad you told me your feelings. I'm glad you're doing better, and I'm glad you didn't do anything too permanent. I know you'll do great things. Just have confidence and faith in yourself. Smiley face emoji.